report this too. Yep. We have finally made it, Coach.
Good job.
We did it. It was a lot of struggle. It was a lot of striving to get it done, but we are now live coming from Zoom and the Facebook for the Divine Works Community Spotlight. How did you feel? How do you feel now that we made it finally?
I'm happy to be here. I'm a little nervous, so I'm just gonna let everybody know that now.
It's okay
But
to
I'm
be
happy to be here.
It's okay to be nervous. Now, y'all that's watching, we're trying to maneuver the Zoom and the questions and also Facebook as well. So if you see me going this and that away, I'm just trying to do the best possible job to make sure that we highlight Miss King, Coach King, I call her, and Journey in her shoes. It was a journey for us to get here.
Yes, it was.
So tell us about this business, this journey in her shoes. Tell us, what's your why and why did you start the business and anything you want to share.
Journey in Her Shoes is a coaching and mentoring service or program, I should say, that empowers women and teenage girls to embrace their story. The reason why I started Journey in Her Shoes is because I didn't want any other one. Sorry, I didn't want another woman to feel the pain, woman or girl, to feel the pain that I felt. A few years ago, I experienced two traumatic events within 6 months of each other.
Mhm.
And I suffered in silence. And what that means is basically I kept everything inside. I didn't talk about it. Even though I had people to talk to, I just kept everything to myself, which led me to a dark place.
Understood. And when you say a dark place, can you elaborate more on what that dark place? What is it? What does it look like? What did it feel like? What did you experience in that dark place?
I picked up some habits that I'm not proud of. I stayed in my room. Sometimes I stayed in my bed. I didn't get out of bed. When I went to work, I was struggling to concentrate. Thank God I had an awesome boss who told me that she's a woman first. And when she saw that I was struggling, she gave me a moment to pull myself together. I just isolated myself basically from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Except for my kids. I had to show up and be mom. But other than that, it was some days I didn't answer the phone. Some days I didn't go outside.
Mm.
And to be honest, those were the hardest 2 years of my life.
What did you say, since you said those was the hardest 2 years of your life, what were a few things that you learned about yourself and just things that you learned about life in those 2 hard years?
Um, those two experiences taught me that life is short. You have to take care of yourself and you have to talk to people. You have to get things off of your chest. It's just hard to keep everything in. And it wasn't until someone told me, someone who didn't really know my story, they told me, Aaron, if you don't heal, then your family won't heal. And then once I heard that, I knew that there was no way that that person knew what I was going through because I didn't talk about it. So when she told me that, I took that to heart. And that's when I started to move forward. I started talking about it and I started to heal. I started researching, how to find your purpose or how to discover your purpose, I should say. And I started listening to Audible books and I started listening to Sarah Jakes because I knew if their healing depended on me, then that's what I had to do.
What were some of the audiobooks that you listened to and that you listen to now?
I don't know the specific name of the book that I'm listening to now, but I think it's Purpose Driven Life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the author is, but I listen to Girl Wash Your Face, Ayana. I have one of her books. I have a couple of Pastor Sarah Jakes books. I have Girls Who Code. I have a lot of audiobooks.
Got you.
Those are just off the top of my head.
Understood. Understood. And which one has impacted you the most? What you say?
Probably Girl Stop Apologizing and Girl Wash Your Face,
Mm-hmm.
because it's basically it's like a women's empowerment book. No matter what you went through, you got to get up, you got to keep going.
Got you. Got you. All right. Good stuff. Another question that I have for you is you going through what you went through in terms of learning and the two hardest years in your life.
Mhm.
How would you describe yourself then versus now?
Um, the Erin then was, she kept everything to herself. She kept everything to her heart. Um, she struggled, basically. She struggled by herself. And I didn't have to. That's just what I chose to do because I was private. Well, I'm still kind of private. Um, but this Erin is not afraid to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about my struggles now. I talk about my problems now because I know it's better to get it out than to hold it in. And once I did start talking about um, some of the events that happened, I realized that I wasn't the only one that, those events happened to. Other people struggle with the same things, but you don't know that if you don't talk about it.
Powerful. How would you describe yourself in 2021? How would you describe yourself in 3 words?
3 words in 2021: I am genuine, I am trustworthy, and I'm understanding.
Okay. Okay. And which one out of the three do you reflect the most on a daily basis, would you say, if any?
I would probably say all three, but I would say understanding, because you never know what the next person is going through or battling, or you just don't know what their life is like.
Mm-hmm. So for your coaching program and your organization, which we'll go into next, is that the attribute that you display that helps you be most effective with people, or is it something else about who you are as a person that helps you?
I would say both. I have always been passionate about helping people. I worked in the healthcare field since I was 16. But my particular story got me where I am right now, put me in this place.
Okay. All right. So tell us, if you can, and tell us where you're from. Have you lived in Joliet your whole life, and what high school you went to, and what was some quote unquote good and bad experience in high school that helped you grow?
Um, I am born and raised in Joliet. I've been here most of my life. I lived in Richmond Park for about 3 years, and then I moved back to be closer to my family. I attended Joliet Central in 2000. Well, I graduated in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had good and bad experiences in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what were some of my good experiences? I don't really remember the good experiences. To be honest, I just remember the bad. I mean, we had fun. I
Mm-hmm.
made friends. Um, but I just remember a lot of people didn't really care for me, because they thought I was mean or stuck up, but that wasn't really the case. They just needed to get to know me. That's all.
Okay. Okay. What was one quote unquote bad experience that you could remember?
Um, a bad experience was, hmm, trying to say one that's appropriate. A bad experience. I was prejudged because I was light skinned with long hair. That was a bad experience for me because, go
Me,
ahead.
me too. I was light skinned with short hair. Go ahead.
I just, at the time, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why certain people didn't like me. We were the same shade. Um, so I just didn't understand.
Hmm. What you think now that you know what you know? What do you think that was attributed to?
It was more about that person versus
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
That person had their own insecurities that was just reflected on me.
what would you say to a young lady that
Mhm.
deal with that struggle and a lady that's in your age bracket? The young lady first, what would you say to her? How would you help her in
What
the situation?
what would I say to her if she dealt with the same struggle?
Mm-hmm.
I would tell her to just remain who she is. It doesn't matter what people think or what people say about you. It's exactly what I just said. It's more about their insecurities than yours. So just keep showing up as you are.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, would you make the same commentary to a lady that's in your age bracket, or would it be different?
I honestly would tell her the same thing.
Okay.
And I would tell her, you've been through worse. I would imagine you've been through harder situations. People are always going to have something to say about you, regardless if you're doing good or if you're doing bad. So
Mm-hmm.
just show up as you.
Hmm. Okay. Tell us about, if you haven't already, tell us more about Journey in her shoes. So hold on. Just to let everybody know, I forgot I got to post up. Okay, we represent tonight on the community spotlight. So tell us more about Journey in her shoes. More detail. How did it get started? What's some of the services or program that you offer to the community?
Okay. Journey in Her Shoes is a mentoring and coaching program. I have two programs for girls 13 to 17. Girls Who Glow is individual coaching. It's based on the particular teenager and whatever problems they're facing. It just goes into detail on how to help them manage their time, help them boost their confidence, and just accept who they are. And then Girl Talk is a group coaching session or coaching program, excuse me. And it's set up for girls who have trouble making friends or girls who have had, those bad experiences making friends. And it's real life experiences with other girls their age. Sometimes I call myself older. Sometimes we can't relate to our kids. I have two teenagers, a girl and a boy, 13 and 15. And sometimes, as parents, you can be like, oh, you'll be all right. But really, um, just because we dealt with it in a different way doesn't mean that they deal with things the same. Because when we were in school, they didn't have all the technology that they have now. So if something happened at school, it could have been recorded, it could have been shared. So they're dealing with a lot more than what we dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
So that program gives them a chance to talk outside of school and build those friendships and learn, different tips and techniques. And also in Girl Talk, we set up safety code words. So if you are out with your friends and, maybe you don't feel comfortable where you are, or maybe you know, you're somewhere where you're not supposed to be and you give your friend this specific code word. So if you say that to them or you text it to them, then they know you need help.
Okay. Awesome.
Um, Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, awesome. I was just saying that's awesome. Any
Uh,
any services or programming for ladies in the 35, 30 age bracket?
there's two programs for women. The first one is More Than Enough because this is for women who struggle to know if what they're doing is enough. Because sometimes we question ourselves: Am
Mm-hmm.
I a good enough wife? Am I a good enough girlfriend? Am I a good enough mother? And that program is to let you know. It's set up to let you know that you are enough, and it points out your attributes basically. And then there's another group coaching, which is called I Choose Me, and that's a group setting for women who tend to, which is probably most of us, tend to take care of everybody else except for themselves.
Got it. Got it. And why does that, man? So my question as a young man, just wanting to learn more about ladies and the strengths and also the struggles. Why is
Mhm.
that? Why is that prevalent? If so, why?
I would say yes, because women naturally take care of everybody else except for themselves. And then sometimes when you do realize that you need to take care of yourself, sometimes you're fighting health issues or your life has completely fallen apart and now you got to piece it back together when you should have been taking care of yourself in the first place, because if you don't take care of you, then you can't take care of nobody else.
And with that being said, in addition, what would you say to those women right now if you had them in one of your sessions, or if you had one-on-one? What would you say to them right now in that regard?
In that regard, I would tell them that they matter. Number one, you matter, regardless of if the world tells you that or if they tell you that you don't, you do. Your journey matters. Don't be ashamed of where you came from, because that's just shaping you for who you're supposed to be. Embrace that. And then in my case, the very things that I thought was going to actually tear me down or tear me apart actually brought me to where I am right now. I will also tell them to know their worth and listen to their bodies.
Mm-hmm. In the year of 2021, today is March the 30th, 2021. What do women need to hear right now?
Just what I just said, that you matter. Embrace your journey, because that's going to take you where you need to go. Speak up. Don't keep everything inside. Women need to hear that we need to help each other instead of tearing each other down. We need to build that community, and that's what Journey is about, building a community where we support each other, because a lot of women go through silent battle and you would never know it. They still show up, they still smile, they still take care of everybody in the house. And the last thing is to pretty much know your worth.
Mm-hmm.
Stop accepting less than what you deserve.
Okay, can you help me out specifically? Give me an example. Person accepting less than what they deserve. Give me an example of that.
I can give you a lot of examples for that. Accepting less than what you deserve is settling, being in a situation you know, not everybody else knows, but you know in your heart that you shouldn't be there. You know in your heart that you don't want to be there. A person just outright disrespecting you, a person that is putting their hands on you, a person you don't feel safe with, a person that's constantly tearing you down.
Understood. March 30th, again, Community Spotlight 2021. What do the brothers need to hear? What would
Ooh.
Coach King say to the men? What would she say to the brothers?
Uh-oh.
No chaser. No chaser. Give it to us
No
straight.
chaser.
No chaser. Give it to us straight.
First, I would say men need to stand up. You need to be there. You need to support us mentally, physically, and emotionally. You need to protect us too, because there's a lot going on in the world where women are being harmed, and it really shouldn't be that way. But don't just protect us from the world, protect us from what happens behind the closed doors too. So if you know you're doing wrong, you need to fix that. And the last thing not the last thing, I would say, if you have a daughter and she brought you home, would you be okay with that? And if the answer is no, then you have some changes you need to make, because that's wrong, because that's somebody's daughter, that's somebody's mother, that's somebody's aunt. And then the last thing I would say to the men is, we love you, we need you, and we also need you to open up. Open up and tell us what you face on a daily. Tell us your struggles, because we don't know if you don't say nothing. And then that's where the communication is messed up.
It didn't hurt too bad. That didn't hurt
It
too
didn't
bad,
hurt too bad.
brothers. Yeah, it was a little uncomfortable for us, I'm pretty sure, but I don't think anybody that's viewing this live or that will view this tomorrow or later on tonight would have any problems with that. You know, if it, and one of my friends I'm connected to says that if it, you know that it's working, if it's hurting, then it's working. If it's hurting, then it's working. So how do we change the narrative concerning women? How do we change that negative narrative that's been proliferated in society and conversations. How do we get away from that story about women?
Um, I would say number one, women have to again take care of themselves, know what they want. You have to know what you want and be what you're expecting from somebody else. Don't just say it out your mouth, but you be that example too. Um, uh, follow your heart,
Hmm.
follow your dreams. It's okay to take, and I'm not by no means saying don't take care of your kids. That is not what I'm saying.
Hmm.
But also take care of yourself because one day your kids gonna grow up and they gonna leave the house, and then you just gonna be there. Don't let your
Hmm.
life go by without doing something for yourself. And if you are, because you know the kids are home, some parents are home, some parents work nights, and we're struggling right now. But take some time for yourself. If you're overwhelmed, if you're stressed out, if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or even if you have to schedule in some time for yourself, that's important. Just take a moment to breathe.
And that's what I was going to ask you. In your life, what do you do to get time for yourself? Because you have two kids, you have a job, you have a business, you have different responsibilities that we don't know about. What what does Coach do to get that time for herself?
It's a couple things that I do. So in the mornings, as I'm working, I listen to a couple podcasts. Well, I listen to a podcast called it's called the Go Getter podcast, and it's teaching me about business, and it also teaches you about God. Um, it teaches you. It teaches about different women and their stories and how they got to where they are. So it's kind of empowering. I also listen to Sarah Jakes, which I mentioned there before, and that's kind of my me time. That's my self care in the morning. So if the days when I don't do that, I can feel it. I have to start my day that way.
Hmm.
I also take time for myself. You know, I just started working out this week, so I'm trying to get my health in order. Um, and then I take time and I spend time with my kids, and I also take time and spend time with my family and friends because that's important. Because I'm a mom, yes, I'm an employee, yes, I'm a new business owner, yes, but I am also Aaron, and that's important.
Hmm. Speak to the woman or women who they're asked this question:
Mhm.
what do you want from life or out of life? And their answer is, I don't know. What would you say to them?
I can definitely answer that, but because that was my answer. I was stuck. I was confused. I didn't know. I knew I wanted more, but I just didn't know how I was gonna get there. Or at some point, I didn't even know what I was good at. And I know that sounds kind of messed up coming from my mouth, but that's how I felt at one point. And I just started to ask the people that knew and loved me, what do you come to me for? And then I like what do you see in me? Because sometimes it's hard to see stuff in yourself, but other people can point that out for you. I also started to just sit back and reevaluate myself. What is it that you want? Where do you want to be? Um,
Hmm.
Stuff like that.
How does she answer that question if she spends most of her time with her kids? Because I like that strategy, asking people, well, what do you come to me for? But what if that woman believes or her kids is the only people that come to her? How does she jump over that obstacle?
She has to take some time for herself then. If your kids are the only people that come to you or the only communication you have is with your kids, there's nothing wrong with taking care of your kids. Let me say that first.
Hmm.
Because my kids are my world and they do come first, but I am also a person. You have to take time for yourself. So I would say, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, just take time to sit back. Sometimes you just got to sit back and sit still and really just think, because at the end of the day, um, you want to have your kids in a better situation.
Okay, got you. Tremendous, tremendous wisdom, as we would say, gems being dropped. Y'all make sure y'all watching. pick up the gems, and then we're going to get you her contact information. So if you want to set up some type of preliminary conversation with her or jump in one of these programs or groups, we're going to make sure to get that information to you. Also, a couple more questions for you.
Mhm.
Okay, a couple more questions. I got distracted. We got that notification. You know, we get the notification like, oh, what was that? a
Right.
couple more questions for you. Three more
Mhm.
questions for you.
Okay.
You're a new business owner.
Mhm.
Where do you see your business in 5 to 10 or 20 years? What do you see? What's your vision for the future?
One thing I would like to do, I don't want to just be in Illinois. You know, I want to travel and I want to help women. Um, I would also like to have a facility where we hold different events and we teach our girls, and not only our girls, but teach the women different things, different skills. And I would also like to be able to rent that facility out to other people who would like to do the same thing.
I see you residual income streams. I'm feeling you streams. What has been the most difficult part of starting Journey in her shoes?
The most difficult part,
hmm
I would say me. I'm the most difficult part because sometimes we self sabotage. Um, I had a problem asking for help. And when you start a business, you don't know everything. You don't know everything, and you're gonna have to ask somebody for help. And with that being said, I also have a problem letting people help me. So those two things were major for me.
Okay, so let's dig a little bit. Let's dig.
Uh
Let's dig a little bit. What are those problems? Well, how did you know those were problems?
Because I haven't always struggled with that, but in my adult years, I struggle asking and receiving help because in my past, I've had some experiences where someone had helped me do some things and I was held over my head. So I am a little hesitant about asking and receiving help.
Okay, and with that, so this is the point. Me going into the teacher mode, then I'm gonna throw it back to you. What I
Hmm.
what I gather from your experience, you overcoming is that area of your life, it jumped over into your business. So
Yes.
it wasn't a segregated situation, though it took place and you experienced it in a segregated scenario. It jumped over and wow, I need some help, man. I'm having a hard time with this, and I would highlight the word trust. What was my other question that I had for you? Okay, I asked you about the 5 to 20 years. You gave me the most difficult part of business. How do people how do people get in contact with you if this a lady, you know, in that age bracket, that adulthood, or a teenager, or maybe you have some administrators or some people that want to bring you into a school. How do these people get in contact with Coach King of Journey in Their Shoes?
I'm gonna answer that question in just 1 second. I just want to add to what you said. If you don't heal from certain situations, it will carry wherever you go. Whatever you do, it's gonna follow you. So, like you said, trust. You have trust issues. You're gonna have trust issues at work. You're gonna have trust issues in your relationships, and eventually, it's gonna fall apart. So you have to heal from the things that you know that hurt you.
Then my question to you is, if if the lady woman has the tendency to do everything because that's the environment, does that person have trust issues?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because she doesn't. Um, let me say it this way. I'm gonna speak to the independent ladies that might be on this live, or
Independent ladies.
or the people who don't understand why women are so independent.
Okay, help us out. We
Um,
need because I need my notebook. But go ahead. I'm
you
sorry.
need your notebook. Some of us are independent because we feel like that's the only way. We feel like we don't have a choice but to be independent. Some of us, you may have somebody in your life that is supposed to help, but they're not there all the time. So the consistency is not there. So in that case, yes, you do have to be independent because you don't know if that person gonna be there or not. So why would I wait for that person? I could just do it myself.
Hmm.
So then there's
Good.
your independent ladies.
Okay. Duly noted. How can I'm not throwing shade, y'all. I'm just making a statement. All right. So how do some of my independent sisters get in contact with you?
Okay. I do have somebody putting my information in the comments.
Okay.
But you can, if you want to schedule a 30-minute free consultation, you can visit www.journeyinhershoes.com
Mm-hmm.
and type in your contact information and I will get back to you. You can follow me on Facebook. I have a business page, Journey in Her Shoes. And you can follow me also on Instagram.
So that journey is not spelled with an EY, it's spelled EE.
It's JOURNEE.
In
It's different.
hershoes.com.
Yes. Sorry, I should have said that. You're right.
That's okay. That's okay. It's different. If let's say a person's watching this and they say to themselves, you know what, I want to get in one of those programs, but I want to donate something to the cause. Like right now. How do people go about doing that?
Well, there is an event where, yeah, an event that I would say that I'm having for the month of April. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
And because that was one of the traumatic experiences that happened to my family, it happened to a close family member. So for the month of April, any proceeds from my t-shirts, my bags, my journals, 30% of that income will be donated to um, a non-for-profit in our community in Joliet.
Mm-hmm. Tell us
So
about
if you
I'm sorry. I'm about to
go
get
ahead.
hyped. Go ahead. I apologize. Go ahead.
So if you would like to either purchase something or donate to the cause, then I believe my Cash App should be in the comments as well.
Mm-hmm. If not, could you let us know if it is? Because I'm looking at the broadcast. I don't see it as of yet. But what Cash App? What's your business Cash App where we can donate to that cause?
It is the money sign LILERK17.
LI.
LILERK17.
Yep. LILERK17 with the dollar,
Yes,
of course, in the
with
front.
the dollar sign. And I will make sure that it is in the comments.
Okay. Tell us about these. I'm like Kobe when he shot that game when he shot for the Lakers. Tell us about these shirts and your other products that you have.
I have journals because you're supposed to write your plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just keep it in your head. You're supposed to write it out, make sure. And then also, you can use your journals for writing down your journey and keeping track of your progress and your growth.
Hold on, time out.
Uh-oh.
You
Yes,
can use your journal to write about your journey.
yes.
Oh, okay. I just want to get it right. I like that.
I have tote bags for the ladies. And I have these t-shirts, which is the logo t-shirts, the Journey in Her Shoes. And then I also have the t-shirt that Mr. Cage has on, which says Your Journey Matters, #Journey in Her Shoes. And that shirt basically just lets you know that whatever you've been through, you still matter. You know, you are not what you went through.
Yep. And also, that's powerful. We're not what we went through. We can learn from it, but we don't have to become it. I also want to give a
Right.
shout out to the shirt because it's gold and black. But I also want to say that the shirt is not limited to just ladies buying it. I bought one because I love the colors and I wanted to support Coach King. But when I'm thinking about it, I have a mom. I have a grandma. I have nieces. I have students. I have young ladies that are close to me, and it's symbolic to support Coach, but also them because their journey does matter. You know, women go through things that men don't go through, and vice versa. But we're talking about the ladies; they endure the pain of birthing us into the world, and that puts us in a place of humility, understanding that, you know what, her journey matters. I'm gonna do whatever I can to, based on the advice that Coach just gave me, need to step up to the plate and be a protector in all those attributes and actions that she gave us to support the journey that our ladies go on. Anything you would like to say? This was an awesome first Divine Works Community Spotlight. I'm thankful to have you, but anything on your heart that you want to say to the Joliet community or the world? Because this is a worldwide platform. So speak, or forever hold your peace.
Speak or forever hold my peace. First, I would like to say thank you for having me. I really, um, I really appreciate being here. You know, we've been in business for a little over a month, so this is pretty big for us. Um, I would like to say to the ladies that whether you choose Journey in her shoes or not, just take care of yourself, love yourself, and treat yourself how you want people to treat you because initially you by the way you treat yourself, you teach people how to treat you. So if you talk about yourself, if you call yourself out your name, if you not just overall not taking care of yourself, why should anybody else? That's your body. And
That's
to the
true.
fellas, we need you, but we definitely need you to step up.
Step up, fellas. Spoken from a true professional and a person with a pure heart and pure intentions and motives to empower people. She has been a light to me. She's been a light to her family. She's been a light to the community. So that's what we do at the Divine Works E&T Community Spotlight. We highlight those who are lights to the community and lights to the world. Miss King, Coach, we thank you for being a light. Continue to allow your light to shine and lead people to the path of life. You're doing an awesome job. Continue to persevere and do the awesome job that you do. And be the awesome person that you are as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for all your help because Mr. Cage was my coach and he also coached my son. And he not that he was doing bad, but he gave him some life tips. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, my pleasure and honor to serve. So as we wrap everything up, we want to shout out there was at least 33 shares of the flyer highlighting the first community spotlight. Shout out to everybody. A lot of people was from Joliet. You had a couple people from other suburbs. Shout out to those individuals. We're gonna put a challenge out there possibly to prompt people to share, this conversation, the broadcast as well. But it showed me that when we come together for one cause and the person that's facilitating it, people have a strong relationship with, because relationships are key. I saw that support come, and I'm praying and hoping and anticipating that we will support Miss King, Coach King, in her efforts to empower women. And with that being said, signing off. We appreciate everybody that's jumped on live or watching this in the future.
Thank you.
That's all we can say is I want to say thank you. I was gonna say thank you, Lord, but I'm gonna go into that. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Keep empowering the community. Keep empowering each other. Be a light in the dark place.
Bye.